Good morning, sports fans. It's Al No Sports Talk, NFL edition, and we're going to be talking about quarterbacks. Mainly as a New Orleans Saints fan, I'm going to be comparing Spencer Rattler to all of his peers that were drafted with him in 2024. And I think the tide is starting to shift where national media is starting to pay attention to that. Spencer Rattler just might be an okay quarterback. But the problem with that is it's almost like local guys are starting to get upset that Spencer Rattler hasn't lost his job yet, and the guy that the Saints drafted this year, Tyler Shook, is not in. And I'm going to deal with that all today. Hell no, Sports Talk, NFL edition. Let's go. Okay, Caleb Williams was drafted number 1 overall from the Chicago Bears last year, and we know that. And we understand that he is the quarterback of their future. And they're looking at him, and they're looking at his numbers, and they want him to be the guy. And the problem with that is that he just hasn't shown any consistency. The majority of his games and the majority of his flashes have come in the first 15 plays of the game where it was scripted, where he can go out there and do exactly what Coach Ben Johnson has asked him to do. And after that, when it's time to read defenses and actually play the quarterback position, he's looked basura. He looked very bad. And to be a number 1 draft pick, you would expect a little bit more. Okay, granted, he's played 2 division rivals, the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, but still in all, you would expect more. Okay, first game against the Minnesota Vikings, they were actually in the game 27-24. He had 21 completions, 35 attempts, 210 yards, 60 completion percentage, 6 passing yard average, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, sacked 2 times in the 86.6 rating and a 67.5 QBR. Detroit, he had a 43.9 QBR, which the next week where they got blown out of the gym. And these are division rivals where you're expecting your team to come up to the level of their competition and play hard. And right now, his QBR is a 58.1, 61 completion percentage, 417 yards total, and 3 touchdowns with 1 interception. So right now, we're looking at Caleb Williams as the number 1 rated quarterback or the number 1 overall drafted quarterback of the year 2024. And right now, he's just not holding up that standard that we would expect from that. And the Bears fans are not really happy with what they're seeing from him. And we understand that as Saints fans, when we're not really happy with our quarterback play, they hired the offensive guru, Ben Johnson, who was expected to fix the guy, which he has in the first 15 plays. When the game starts and the plays are scripted and we know exactly what we're supposed to be doing, Caleb Williams looks like a number one drafted quarterback. But just the rest of the game, when there's audibles need to be made, there's pre-checks need to be made, there's quarterback reads that need to be made, he just can't do it right now at the level of being the number 1 overall drafted player in that draft. The next drafted was Jayden Daniels. He's the quarterback of the Washington Commanders, and he's actually doing a little bit better than Caleb Williams. He had 433 yards, 3 touchdowns, but a abysmal 39.5 QBR. Now, you would not know that if I didn't tell you, because no one is talking about that he's not looking amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like on 9/11, they played the Green Bay Packers, and he went 24-42, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. And when you're missing 20 passes out of 40 passes, which isn't bad, it's a 57% completion rate, but you don't look great. You were sacked 4 times. The offensive line is not giving him any help, but he has the offensive weapons. They signed Terry McCurran. They signed Deebo Samuel. They have the same exact weapons that they've already had. Right now, he's just not looking like he looked last year. Last year, he took the year by storm, where we expected Jayden Daniels to take that sophomore jump and to becoming a top 5 quarterback in the league. And right now, he's basically middle of the pack, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 433 yards, QB rating of 39.0. And, he's not looking like we would expect from the number 2 rated quarterback, number 2 drafted quarterback in the draft. Now, Drake May, on the other hand, is doing absolutely amazing. He's the guy that's that I would say that's leading the sophomore quarterbacks. He had 517 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR of 57.1, which is not that bad at all. He's passing for a great 71% passer. 71% completion rating. They're 1-1. They lost to the Raiders, but they beat the Miami Dolphins, and so you got to tailor that as well, thinking about this competition. Their next game is against the Steelers on this Sunday. So we're going to look at a more of a defensive game. You know, that the Steelers are always going to have a great defense. We're not showing who's going to win, but he's going to have more of a test. However, against the Dolphins, he went 19-23, 230 yards, 82% completion rate, meaning he just was out there slinging dots for 10 yards a pass. Every time he completed a pass, he went either for 10 yards or more. A longer 55, 3 sacks, 137 rating. So you got to understand that he's looking great against the Miami Dolphins, who actually played very well last night against and Thursday Night Football, which I can't even remember who they played last night, which is kind of crazy. The Buffalo Bills, right? So he's looking like the clubhouse leader right now. I'm going to move a little bit faster because I'm noticing this time is going. And we're looking at Michael Penix right now, who's also playing okay. He has the highest QBR. Michael Penix playing for the Atlanta Falcons, who was drafted the 4th drafted quarterback in that draft. And you can see right now, you know, he's passing for 63%, 433 yards passing and 1 touchdown. And that's where his drawback is. He played the Vikings, where they pretty much have one of the best running games in the league. So you understand that's how they're going to win most of the game. And they had a barn burner against a division rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you still expect your quarterback, who has the likes of Drake London and other weapons on that team that you're expecting to be great targets. Like, he has a lot of weapons. To have 1 touchdown right now, I would not expect that if you would have told me that. So that's kind of shocking to me. His passing is looking pretty good, pretty solid. He's been sacked 4 times, 3 times against the Vikings. Like I said, an excellent QBR against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he went 27-42, 1 touchdown, which he passed for. He had a 93 quarterback rating against the Vikings. Even though they won that game, his quarterback rating was a little bit lower because of the sacks and the lack of yards. He only had 135 passing yards. So we're looking at Michael Penix with the Falcons, and we're expecting a little bit more from him. They play the Panthers this week. I expect his numbers to go up against the Panthers. J.J. McCarthy's going to be hurt, and I think he's going to miss a couple of games. Yeah, his status is out. He was picked 10th overall in the first round. These are all first-round quarterbacks we're looking at right now. His passing is for he had 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in 2 games. QBR 20. He's looking terrible. And I think a lot of buyer's remorse is going on, where they had Sam Darnold last year, who's actually playing very well for the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm thinking that a lot of fans may be having buyer's remorse. They played their first game against the Chicago Bears, which was a game of trash versus trash. And he threw for 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 98 rating, 3 sacks. But against the Falcons, it's the reason why he's out now. The offensive line is not doing him any favors. He threw for 158 yards, but he was sacked 6 times. So J.J. McCarthy's out, so his numbers are going to dip as the rest of the 2024 class continues to move on. Bo Nix is the one that's more surprising, because he was the guy that came on. He was drafted 12th overall last year. Like there were 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round last year, and all of these guys have immense potential. And we were expecting all of these guys to take that leap. But there's only one right now that's looking like he's a top 10 or 15 prospect, and that's Drake May. But looking at Bo Nix right now, he hasn't lived up to the potential which we thought he would live up to from last year. they played their first game against Tennessee, which was against a bad team. So we expected him to play a little bit better, but he actually still looked bad against a bad team, throwing 25 completions with 40 attempts, 176 yards, 62% completion percentage. A lot of dink and dunk going on in Denver. We know Sean Payton. Sean Payton wants to throw a lot of screens, a lot of slants, a lot of short passes. His longest pass was 22 yards that game, 1 sack, 60 rating, 24 QBR against the Colts, which we did not expect to be playing as well as they're playing right now. The Colts are playing pretty well. And you're looking at Daniel Jones, who was left for dead from the New York Giants. He's looking pretty good right now, leading the Colts. But as you can see the numbers, man, he's going to have a lot of completions. Bo Nix's going to complete a lot of passes because Sean Payton is going to give you a lot of screens, a lot of bubble screens, a lot of slants. He's going to give you a lot of passes. He's going to scheme your receivers open on short passes. So he threw the ball. The first game was 4 yards per pass attempt or catch. And the second game was 7 yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he still lost. No sacks. So he actually played much better against the Colts. But Spencer Rattler was drafted in the 5th round, 150th pick. And now you've seen the 1 through 12 quarterback pick last year. And this guy was drafted 150th, the 5th round. And he's starting off for the New Orleans Saints. And the promise is there. Is he there yet as the guy? No, but the promise is definitely there. And I'm looking over at the quarterbacks for the Saints team. You're looking at Hunter Deckers, doesn't even have a name. And they're wild for not giving my guy a name. But you're looking at this, and I'm looking at 2 losses. It's shocking because the Saints could have won a game, but the Saints they're 2 losses. So first game against the Cardinals. And whenever you have a young quarterback throwing the ball 46 times, you're either trying to come back or you just have a immense confidence in his arm. And I think it was just the fact that they were losing the majority of the game and they were on a comeback. In the first game, you can see that he was trying to get the rust off, playing against the Cardinals. And the Cardinals was giving him a lot of underneath passes. So he only threw an average of 4.7 yards a catch. 27 of 46, 214 yards, 58 completion percentage, 1 sack, 70 rating, 58 QBR. So his QBR is consistently going to be high due to the fact that he doesn't play mistake football. He plays a lot of mistake-free football. 25 of 34 against the 49ers. Tough game, 207 yards, 73 completion percentage, 6 yards a pass, 3 touchdowns, 39 was his longest, and 3 sacks, 118 rated, 57.6 QBR. So what we're expecting from Spencer Rattler is to take that completion average up. We need that up around 6.8, 6.9, 7-ish. If he can average that for the rest of the year, he's going to do good. Now, I'm going to put the image up of all of these guys, and I'm going to stack them up before we close this video out so we can see the numbers and how they're looking. Okay, the green is good. That's it. They're on a go. The white is kind of like it's mid. There's no definitive. It's not bad or good. It's kind of just mid. The red, pink is in a trajectory of low. And if we're looking at J.J. McCarthy, he has a lot of red down there. And that's when you know that he's not playing well. We're looking at Jaden Daniels, who has the 2nd most red. We're looking at Caleb Williams, who has the 3rd most red. We have Bo Nix right now with a little red, little pink, a lot of green at the end, and yak yards, pressure percentage, sack percentage, pressure sack. Spencer Rattler right now is doing great as far as dropbacks. He's dropping back the most. He has the most attempts. He has off-target percentage is pretty high. Success percentage is pretty high. He needs to. So we're working on some of these things with Spencer Rattler. We're looking at these numbers and we're comparing. And this is kind of like a good way to see how these guys are looking. Like Drake May right now is looking like the best quarterback of the 2024 season. Michael Penix and Spencer Rattler, I would probably put, looking at it, I would probably put Spencer Rattler ahead of Michael Penix Jr. And I'll put Michael Penix at 3. I'll put Bo Nix at 4. I'll probably put Yeah, Caleb Williams probably be 5, Jaden and JJ McCarthy. So that would be the list that I would have if I were to rank the guys as far as how they were drafted last year. And a lot of national media, when they're covering the 2024 class, they leave off Spencer Rattler because no one's really expecting Spencer Rattler to look the way he's looking right now. He looks great out there, and he's showing a lot of promise. So they played this week. The Saints play the Seahawks, so it's going to be Spencer Rattler against Sam Darnold, and we're going to get to see him against a very hungry defense on the road. And this is going to tell us a lot, whether or not the Saints have someone that they can move forward with, or the cries from the local media for Tyler Shough are reasonable, and we might see Tyler Shough faster than we expect. So this is it, man. Al Knows Sports, NFL edition, really previewing Spencer Rattler in comparison to the rest of these guys. Because I want everyone to start to see that we got a guy here, and we don't want to lose focus on that. I think we got a guy here, so I'm putting a lot of chips into the Spencer Rattler bag. I'm out.